YouTube, what's going on? Welcome back to another tier list. I know, I've done so many of them. I apologise, I promise. This is the last one for a while. Because I have ideas. I have more stuff coming up, I promise. But I just feel like, I felt like doing one today. I'm slumming it today, as you may be able to tell from the way I look right now. I'm slumming it a little bit today, as the kids say, as the youths are saying on TikTok. Do people say that on TikTok? That's a word, right? People say that, slumming it. Look, I just if you saw my video yesterday, you'll know that I'm kind of in a bit of a weird place right now. Oh man, I just want to get it cut, and I can't. Just free us, Boris. Free us, just for one day. Give me a 1 day pass from lockdown. Me only. No one else, just me. Just let my barbers open and let them save me. What was I saying? It's too much. It's too big. Like what? This is too. I look about 12 as well. What was I talking about? We're doing a tier list today because I did my Isaac video just now, and it genuinely cheered me up a little bit. It felt nice to just distract myself and talk a little shit, and I thought, you know, what better an environment to talk a little shit in than an I think you should leave sketch tier list. And look, this is going to be a chill one. I'm coming at you with a little bit of a low energy just because I am emotionally drained right now. But let's pivot to a little bit of one of these, a little bit of a tier list. So, yeah, I just wanted to just have a nice little relaxing little chat, just because I just wanted to keep talking for a little bit. It felt good. I feel it's cheering me up. I think you should leave sketches ranked, show created by Tim Robinson for Netflix. You may have heard of it. If you have spent any amount of time with me in the past year or so, you will have heard me reference this show, whether you realise it or not. And if you haven't seen this show, I highly recommend you watch it immediately. The entire show's runtime is about an hour and a half. I think there's 6 episodes. Just pull up my safety net reminder here. We're on season 2. There are 0 episodes of season 2. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 episodes and they're about 20 minutes each. The longest sketch is like 7 minutes long. Watch it. Like you won't. It's not to everyone's taste. I showed my mum and my sister a clip once, and they absolutely hated it, and they didn't talk to me for about 2 hours afterwards, which is a shame. But you know what? Sometimes you gotta make sacrifices in life for the things that you love. It's a fantastic show. You should watch it. The rankings are as such: best of the best, hilarious, pretty funny. You have to figure out what it is you do, or this is garbage, can it? And they're in a chronological order here. They're in. I don't know if that's the right word to use there, but it's the word I use, so we're running with it. Let's get started. So, sketch number 1, the opener. And by the way, the first episode is an absolute belter. Great sketches on great sketches, and we start here with it actually opens both ways. I was here yesterday. It actually opens both ways. Look. This is the sketch where a bloke has a job interview in a local cafe, and he goes to open the door. He goes to pull on it. Turns out it's actually a push door instead of just owning up to the embarrassment. Why would you do that when you could just full send on the situation you put yourself in? And he brute forces the door open whilst maintaining eye contact. Look, it's been in the minuses for like 2 months straight. One day it goes to 10C and there's a fucking ice cream van outside. I'm telling you, look, I get it. You've got a business to run. Fair enough. I'm not going to call it against you too much, but like, I don't even know if you guys can hear it. I'm just going to keep talking. Fuck it, dude. It adds to the chaos. Okay, it turned off. I think it's pretty funny. I like if you really boil it down to the moment. Sorry, Tearmaker has been running awfully for me. You boil it down to its core elements. That sort of sentiment of being in like an awkward situation and trying to just like force yourself all the way through it rather than kind of owning up to the embarrassment. I get it. And I think it's a good one. And Josh referenced this the other day in a call at some point, probably. Why do I feel like this was on stream, actually? He did one stream. Why do I feel like this was something he made on a joke he made on stream? Maybe he did, just I don't remember. But Josh referenced this the other day and was like, hey, I'd take this just to be in an interview. And I also very much relate to that sentiment. So, you know, a lot of relatability in this one. I love how he maintains eye contact the whole way. Funny. Has this ever happened to you? Call me. Right now? Look, I probably should have rewatched the show before doing this so I could actually remember the quotes. So just get used to a lot of like half-right quotes throughout this. I think this is pretty funny. I think this is funnier than the first one. I think it's just shy of hilarious. I like kind of where it goes. It's a little bit chaotic. I think it gives you a good taste of the show. I like where they go with it. I just think it's funny that kind of as it progresses, it kind of goes. You don't know where it's gonna go. Like ooh, and then they install a joke toilet just for farts. And then it's like, hey, you're not part of the Turbo team. You do not run until you are part of the Turbo team. Just walk. Like, what does that... It's just funny. And then at the end, he's like, has this ever happened to you? He's just getting, like, gradually more and more intense. And then he's like, call me, please. Or call me now, or whatever he says. I think it's funny. I like the way it builds. I think it's a funny sketch. I don't think it's hilarious. I wasn't in tears. I think I like the Turbo team. That's a good reference. It's a good reference, a good quote, a reference, quote, reference, source. It's a good one. I like it. I'm into it. Now we have Baby of the Year. That's at least the floor on this is hilarious. The ceiling, you know what? Just because I worry that I'm gonna suffer too good to use here. I tend to only put people in the absolute highest when I have a pre-established bias going into this. For example, in the Genshin tier list, I was always going to put Amber up on the top tier by herself. In the Among Us tier list, I was always going to put Orange and Black on the top tier. This one, I don't necessarily have like a established like a hill that I die on that's definitely going in there. So I worry that if I don't, you know, put something in there, I don't want it to be like, you know, you see in a football match, you see a bad challenge and then they don't get carded and you're like, you always feel like the ref is just hesitant to show a card like in the first minute of the game because it just feels a bit early, you know, that sort of thing that happens, fellow football fans, am I right? I don't want to not put it in the best of the best because it's so early, so I'm just going to commit to it. This is a hilarious sketch. The Baby of the Year is an inherently funny concept to have like a beauty pageant for cute babies. I like the progression of it. It's a bit of a longer one. I like that there's Harley Jarvis that everyone just hates, and it's so funny because it's a baby. Fuck you, Harley Jarvis. A baby, and he's got like the little like biker bandana on. Oh, it's hilarious. I just love that everyone's like, oh, the dimples, the cute button nose, but Harley Jarvis is like some evil creature. It's just funny. It's absolutely hilarious. The woman who says that she's going to kill herself live on TV, the woman who gets kicked out for swearing at the baby and then comes back and tries to shoot the baby, and then to end it all off with the in memoriam, where they still use the baby names and then give like the really detailed description of the death, and it's like, you're not supposed to say how they die. Tiny dinky daffins, pancaked by drunk dump truck driver. It has everything. It has everything. It has so many good individual moments. I saw whoever's dad giving oral to one of the judges. I felt like he could have won it without the oral. He didn't have to give the oral. Like, I'm laughing. I'm trying to like contain the laughter. It just like you know, running through the quotes. I could just quote this whole thing. It's perfect. It's brilliant. Instagram captions, self-deprecating Instagram captions. I think it's funny because again, it's just a funny thing that people do that on Instagram sometimes, to be like, ooh, look at me, I'm so ugly, haha. Not wrong with it. Like, I'm not complaining. It's just like a funny concept to kind of play off. And then I think it just does I think you should leave thing of just taking it to the absolute extreme. No coughing, just wet mud. Slurping up pig dicks. It's funny. Like, every sketch in this show is basically hilarious. You've just got to have standards, and I think it doesn't necessarily have me in tears like some of the rest do. I don't think it needs to figure it out too much. I just don't think it's You know what? Pretty funny. I'd say it's about the average. I think it's fine. And I like having the kind of super out there crazy characters, and then having the playoff characters just be like straight guys. So the fact that their friends are just like, what the fuck, is really good. This is best of the best, and I know 2 best of the best in one episode. That's a lot, but oh my god, it is so fucking good. I think this is the longest sketch in the show. It's just hilarious. The progression is just brilliant. There's a beginning, there's a middle, there's an end. There's peace at the beginning, an issue arises, and then to be fair, it doesn't quite get solved. It just gets worse. But it's like shot cinematically. It's just a great sketch, and the progression of it is just wonderful. You know, if you don't mind eating the receipt, it's too big of a mud pie, the one where you can see the KFC through the front window. Your wife kissed me on the cheek when I got here, and now look at you. and then just the cherry on top. If you haven't, I don't even want to spoil this one, because that's how good it is if you haven't seen the end. But then the fact that the scene ends the way it does is just hilarious. Best of the best all day. This one, I think, is the biker scene. Kind of funny. I'm going to put that here as far as like pretty average goes. You know what? I'm putting this one, now that I'm starting to see this, I like an average tier. I like a middle ground tier where it's like, it's fine. I'm not rating it overly highly over the average, but I don't want to say that I dislike it either. I think I did the same with the bosses in Isaac. This one gets moved up now that I'm kind of figuring out my tiers as I go here. Pretty funny. I think it's kind of fun. You know, you kind of like, what's going on here? This is a little bit weird. Like this biker's like, whoa, is this a motorcycle with a small house in the middle of it? And then you get to like the bit where you see why he's so freaked out. I think it's a good one. It's nothing too crazy, but it's only the opening scene, so you know. TC Tuggers, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if this is a slightly controversial opinion. I don't quite think it ever got there. The concept is funny. I like the callbacks to it throughout the episode, and the TC Tugger tugging knob. It's kind of funny. It's a funny idea, and obviously it's like a Riverdale parody, satire almost, however you want to see it. And I think it's fine. It's got a bit of a weird vibe to it, and it never quite hit me perfectly. I think the TC Tugger thing could have maybe been, I honestly, I don't even think there was necessarily anything wrong with the sketch. It just never quite hit me the right way. And I think the kind of the play off the Riverdale thing kind of it didn't feel like it was a Riverdale parody. It felt like it was the TC Tugger joke, and for some reason that was just the universe they went with. And I get being like, you know, maybe it's like a product placement thing. It's kind of funny that it's like a serious teen drama, and then all of a sudden there's this like wacky, like way too long product placement. It's kind of funny, but it never quite hit me properly. I believe this is the one where you have been you wear a toupee to hide your hair loss, so you can order a series of deliveries of slightly less hairy wigs to try and imitate natural hair loss, or alternatively, you can have them call them up and have a gorilla show up publicly and rip your hair off all in one go. That's funny, and it's absolutely hilarious when the dude has it done or whatever, or buys the natural, like the degrading hair, and then like later on he's at a party and one of his work colleagues, the gorilla, comes up and rips his hair off, and the guy goes, "Oh no, that's my natural hair." That's pretty good. And then the bit right at the very end when he pokes the wife in the eyes. I think it's pretty funny. It's kind of, it's just a funny it's not trying to be too much. It is what it is, and I think it does its job. Whoopee Cushion, this is best of the best. This is absolutely hilarious. There's quotables for days, and I love a good quotable. You know, permission to go home and watch TV so I'm not beat red for my family photo tonight. I can't tell you how many times I've said, "Is that the joke?" I say it all the time, constantly. I still say it regularly. The cake batter down my leg, make it look like I pumped my pants. A meatball down my leg, make it look like my ball sack ripped open or whatever. It's just funny. I need to figure out what's going on. Just the whoopee cushion being taken like so incredibly seriously, like it's a real attack on his honor and his pride. It's just so funny, man. It's just so funny. Think we all know what happens if I farted, Jane? You'd throw up your pretty little lunch. Too good, too good. Will Forte, I think honestly, again, this one never quite did it to me. It's a little like, I get the joke and the concept's fine. You know, everyone's been in that situation. You're on the plane, there's a baby crying. It's funny that this guy is an adult and is like trying to enact revenge on a dude who cried as a baby. It's funny, but it never really, similar to this. It just never really hit the same. It just never really hit me. Oh no! Oh, never mind. This is. I was thinking of this one. This is the magician, who. This is the joke magician, the stage magician, who you know, pulls that guy. A guy's on a dinner date with his wife. He pulls the guy up and makes a couple jokes about him. You know, his suit and his hairstyle and stuff. And then they go home, and the wife is like, "You didn't stick up for yourself. He made you look like a little boy. You're not a little boy. You're a man." Etc, etc, and then she says that she's going to divorce him, and she's like, "We'll stay together for the kids, but I will not respect you anymore, and I will make sure they don't either." And then he goes back and walks up on stage and is like, "You ruined my life." It's funny. It's pretty funny. It's about the average. And let's speed things up, because I'm basically just like describing skits that if you're watching this, you've probably already seen. Except for Jacob, who might be watching this, who will now just eternally use this as this video as an excuse to not have to watch it because he's already heard me describe all the skits. This is best of the best. This guy is fucking hilarious. I saw the follow-up video the other day for the first time, and then thought it was real for like 2 minutes until it got into the bit, and then I realised it was like the whole thing was a bit, and I was like, what the fuck just happened to me? That was hilarious and genius. And then I watched an actual real interview with him, and he's kind of just like that as a person. It's so funny. Again, this one is probably like, this one, the Whoopee Cushion one, and Bozo Dubbed Over are probably the best for quotables. It's too funny, man. It's so funny. Like, there's just so many good lines in it. Like, I don't even want to sit here and reel them off, because if you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. And this skit is Minkus. This sketch is actually on YouTube. It's on the Netflix's Funny, whatever it's called. Funny Netflix stuff. Well, I can't remember what the channel's called. But it's on YouTube, so if you haven't seen this sketch, fucking hell, man, sketch, commit to one. Watch it. It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's too funny. I'm not going to sit here quoting it all day because I will. And the fact that the guy is called Paul just makes it even funnier, because there's a Paul in the friend group who I absolutely adore, and it just makes it funnier that it's like, who's the most popular now, Paul? Hey, he didn't trick me. I am going to be a star. This is the guy who's like got a shady quote-unquote record deal owner who's like tricking people to pay him like $1,000 to try and turn them into stars, and then they just make shit songs in his tiny little studio. Moon River Rock, Dunkity Dunk, Moon River Roll. It's fine. I think it needs to figure out what it does. Again, the concept. I boil a lot of these down to like the concept of the joke. I like the idea of playing off just like a completely useless like idiot A&R guy who's like trying to convince people he's a label and trying to convince people he can make them stars, and then people who think that they can be stars. No, yeah, it's kind of funny. It doesn't really do a ton for me, to be honest. I think they could have gone a bit farther with that one. This one, pretty funny. I put this at the average. It's such a short little one that I would feel bad putting it too much either way, but just there's something inherently funny about a funeral and the normal guy isn't there, and the fact that he brought his own organ to the church with him, that's just funny anyway, because that's not how that works. And then when he starts throwing plates and then the fact that he plays these long ass like really weird like carnival songs, and then he's like, and then at the end of the song he turns around and goes, "My condolences." I don't think this is a particularly good sketch, is why I'm only putting it at pretty funny, but the fact that it makes me laugh as much as it does. This is hilarious. This one, I think, Howie just misses best of the best to me, because I respect the bell curve too much. It's so funny, man. Remember that night I told you wouldn't be a good writer because you don't have a curious mind? All of the weird jazz references, most of which are fake, by the way. I watched the video breaking them all down. Um, Paul Bufano, how hard is that? The gazpacho soup. The bit at the end where like it looked like he's like a terrible date that you would never want to be with, and then at the end as they're leaving, the girl goes, "You guys embarrassed me in front of Howie." It's so good, man. It's a funny one. It's a funny one. I just like that you're playing charades with someone. A game I only learned about recently, but it's great fun. You're playing charades with someone. Actually, wait, hang on. I just realised I only learned about that game recently, but I never even kind of registered that that's what they were doing in this skit because I just didn't know what the game was. But I learned about it recently because it's on Backyard, I think. Is that how I learned about it? I don't remember. Charades. I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but that idea of like playing a game like that, or like guess the celeb or whatever, and someone just putting in like needlessly specific celebs for their own sake, and then it's just funny. It's just funny. This one, I didn't really like this one. I think you need to figure out what it is. Honestly, I think this is garbage. I think this is. Look, I love the show so much, and the bar is so high. This doesn't mean this isn't good, but it's kind of not good. I just never got this one, really. It's like Ebenezer Scrooge, but he's like the ghost of way future, and they need him to kill the skeletons that are taking over the world. It's kind of like Terminator, but there's skeletons, and I don't know. I get it. It just never really did it for me. This one is my dog. He was humping your head, dude. I'm a little torn on this one. I think this one you could convince me it's pretty funny, and if other people put this higher, I'd be with you. I just similar to these two that made it down here. It just never quite hit me. It's kind of a funny show, and it's kind of the whole like hill to die on, push through the awkwardness thing. Just never quite hit me. This is hilarious. The date who's eating all of the fully loaded nachos, you know, the ones with all the meat and the cheese and stuff, and the guy like goes to the restaurant, the waiter, and asks him to come over and tell her that the restaurant has a rule that if you order fully loaded nachos, one person's not allowed to eat all of the fully loaded nachos. And then when she's like, "Did you tell him to say that?" He's like, "What?" And the one line, "We're gonna be," where she's like, "I'll take the bill, please," and he's like, "We're gonna be so early for the movie." That's a great line. That's a great line, and it's, you know, it's a relatable bit. I'm someone, if I was sharing fully loaded nachos, I absolutely would just let the other person have all of the fully loaded nachos, the one with all of the meat and the cheese on, just because that's, I guess, is kind of like in my nature or whatever. So I understand being in the situation and being like, man, I wish I had more fully loaded nachos right now. That said, I would not be doing anything about it. I'm always going to be happy to let them have the good nachos. But, you know, you relate to the bit. It's funny. It's a funny bit. This is the dude who's just like so horny that it hurts, aka half of the people I follow on Twitter, apparently. It's pretty funny. I couldn't put it in hilarious. The end of it, Friday night, got me feeling like we just might, like that whole like fake Taylor Swift-esque song. That's the best bit of the sketch. The fact that he's at a funeral and it's all building up to that, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, I've got to go sing a song for my mum. It's like, it's his mum's funeral, and then he goes and starts singing like a weird like Taylor Swift parody. That's comedy. I'm telling you, that's comedy. That's like, I don't know how to, like, if you ask me how do I explain what comedy is, that is not even a real one, a fake Taylor Swift song at his mum's funeral is fucking hilarious. The sket is I keep saying sket, dude. I need to stop saying that. I don't mean to. It's an accident. The similar words. Just checking my webcam's still going. Oh my lord. Hey, it's me, a 12-year-old. Look, I'll get it cut when I can. It's just I can't. I don't know, it's funny. A guy who is just like relentlessly horny and for some reason can't do anything about it and needs someone to help him, and then he has like all the porno mags, and it's funny. It's a funny sketch. Just say one of them. This is one of the best in my opinion. So many good lines. It's just funny absolutely every time. Yeah, Donald may look like a hot dog. This random hot dog car, random, and we need to find the guy who did this, etc., etc. There's so many like subtle little lines, like the someone's got to do it, like when he says about spanking his bare balls and back, and then the guy's homegrown Simpson stuff. You're dog shit. You're fucking dog shit. It's so there's so many good lines. It literally is. It's quotable after quotable after quotable, and that's all I can really say about it. Watch it. It's a great scene. I can't do it justice. This is the one where he goes to, again, classic fighting through the embarrassment. He goes to a restaurant for a group meal, and then it turns out someone famous, and a famous musician who he looks up to a lot is there. And then he starts to choke on a popper, but refuses to let his friend do the Heimlich or whatever it's called. Is that the right one, the Heimlich? Because he would be too embarrassed to have the Heimlich done to him in front of this famous celebrity. So instead, he kind of just endures it, and then he ends up having to go outside, and an ambulance comes, and they do it in front of the front window where the entire restaurant can see it. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of funny. I like the concept. Didn't really do it for me. Straightforward. This one, pretty funny. She tells one Christmas joke, and everyone shits themselves laughing, or something like that. I honestly, it's going to sound like this isn't true, because I can't even remember like a single quote from it right now. The first couple times, it's not the most rewatchable skit. I definitely like rewatching it now, and if I rewatch the show like tonight or whatever, it probably won't make me laugh the most. The first couple times, I thought this one was pretty damn funny. I thought it was funny. I don't know what to tell you. It just made me laugh. Something about it made me laugh. It's just the absurdity of it. It got me. What can I say? Okay, we're trying to speed up here. The Bones of the Money, absolutely hilarious. And also the worms. Like, what is it? And it's just like, it's funny. I don't know what to tell you beyond the fact that this sketch is hilarious. The fact that he's like winging it, and he's like, oh, I thought you were winging it too, and he thought it was like good, and it just doesn't make any sense at all. And then at the very end when he's like, oh, I thought you said you wanted a spooky song. It's just funny. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's I'm going to embarrass you. I'm going to embarrass you, Barry. The lions, like at the zoo, and they were playing a game. Some good quotables. The one where they said that they were late because there was a hit and run, and he was like, "Oh no, it didn't even matter. Like the cops were there. Like they didn't even matter. Like they weren't even a person really." There's some good lines. It's okay. What's going on? Am I recording? Chrome crashed and minimized. Okay, I appeared to be good. And then the fact that like I think I'm good anyway. The fact that he like felt the need to like he had to get revenge. And then at the end, he's like, okay, well, you know, we're all good now. It's funny. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. This one is the one where the horses are hung like you. It's a ranch where you ride horses, but they don't make you feel like less of a man, because instead of having huge horse dongs, they have like human-sized penises. I'm gonna put that's a good average. It's pretty funny. It's like it's nothing too crazy, and it's only a short one. It's one of the shorter sketches. I think it's a pretty funny concept. Someone who can ride horses and grew up learning to horse ride. I can horse ride. I can't say that's ever been a concern, but it's pretty funny. Come on, it's pretty funny. Wow, bigger than a horse. I like the sound of that. This one is hilarious. This is chunky. This is where you have to figure out what it is you do comes from. Don't talk. Chunky doesn't talk. I don't know. It's funny. I don't think it's quite best of the best, because sometimes it feels a bit like some of the jokes are just like a bit, or some of the lines are a bit like what filler almost, or a bit whatever. It's kind of like it has some good lines and some good moments, and then some kind of down moments. It's a bit up and down, which is why I couldn't quite put it in best of the best. But the ups are high enough up that I think this is hilarious. Bozo dubbed over, best of the best. Just so funny. the general concept, the fact that they're watching funny videos and this dude just for some reason just knows no funny videos or no viral videos and just has nothing to share and is like deeply affected by the fact that he didn't have anything to share, and it like makes him feel really shitty, so he goes home and like manufactures a funny video. It's just like I don't even like that's just, it's funny anyway. I don't know how many times I've said funny in this video. It's funny anyway, but then the sketch itself, this guy's about to jack off, a clown pewter, fuck that, probably got no games on it, hope nobody goes home and fucks my mom, or fucks my wife, he's his wife, doesn't he? Hope nobody goes home and fucks my wife. Dude, like, what do you want me to say? You don't need me to explain that, it's hilarious. It's just funny, and I kind of understand being in that situation, and when people are like sharing stuff and being like, oh shit, I don't have anything to share, but like usually you can think of something, right? But to have just nothing at all, to the point where he goes home and tries to like make something, and then when it was like it has like 0 views and was uploaded 3 hours ago, oh man, that's funny. This is the one where he buys a bunch of props for a mafia film, and then it's like shit, so he decides he's not going to do the film anymore. Chrome's crashed again. He decides he's not going to do the film anymore, so he's trying to like get rid of a bunch of like fedoras and toy Tommy guns, and they're doing like a baby party planning session. What do they call those? Like a baby shower, sort of. They're having like a party, so they're trying to do like little gift bags for people who go to the party, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. It's not like a baby shower, it's like a party celebrating a baby. Is there a baby? Maybe I made that up. And he's trying to like, no, maybe it's just a normal party. Where did the baby come from? I've got babies on the mind. It's just a normal party, I think, actually. They're doing like party bags, and he's trying to like put the crap that he's got for his mafia movie into the party bags. And he's trying to convince them that they're like really good, and he's like, when the guy's like, I will take some fedoras, and he's like, you've got to take all of them, it's a bulk deal. It's funny, it's hilarious, but I'm gonna say that that's an average one. I'd say that's about the standard. That's about the standard for the show. I'd say there's a good standard, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. This one, I'm gonna say Garfield House. You have to figure out what it is you do. The concept of staging an intervention for your alcoholic friend, and then someone offers to do it at their place, and you get there and the house is just like wildly over decorated exclusively with Garfield decor, and trying to host like a serious intervention in like a wacky environment. And then to further that, the fact that she's like overly proud of it, that's kind of funny. It's a funny concept. And then as well at the end, when she realizes that so she says it was like that because she bought it. The previous owner was the guy who like created Garfield, but then at the end she finds out that actually it wasn't the owner who created Garfield. It was just a random house that just is like that for some reason. That's pretty funny. That's a good bit. I like all the I like the just trying to do an intervention, and everyone's like sat on like a chair that looks like the dog from Garfield, and then like the tongue is the recliner. It's pretty good. But it just hits kind of weird. I don't really get the dude who's like, oh, I'm looking for my treasure, and like at the end he just kind of walks down the stairs. I don't really get that. And also some of it kind of feels like you get the joke straight away, and then it kind of doesn't really go anywhere until right at the very end, where they realize it wasn't the dude's, the owner's, the creator's house. That's kind of a funny bit, but then I don't know, I feel like it kind of is a bit up and down. So that said, that's gonna do it. That's gonna wrap it off here. That is the list, the definitive list of I think you should leave sketches. Now I think basically the only person I know who's watched this is Josh, and I believe Josh did this tier list like a while ago, and not for a video, and shared the screenshot. So I don't know if maybe that's in the Twitter DM somewhere, or I feel like the group chat. Maybe this was even longer ago than maybe this was even pre-group chat. Did he do it on stream at some point? I don't remember. Josh, I think, has already done this. So I don't want to say, hey, you guys should also do it, because I don't know who hasn't seen it, and I also can't. I know Josh has already done it, but Josh, if you've still got that screenshot somewhere or a link, I mean, it saves it in the cookies, so maybe you can just go on and it'll still be on there, and you can send it. You can send it again because I can't remember how Josh put everything, but I'm sure he did it at some point. Either way, though, there you go. Those are my opinions. I hope you guys enjoyed. As per, this video went longer than I wanted it to, so. Actually, you know what? NL did this video, and I didn't want to watch it because I didn't want to like accidentally. I didn't want to watch his video and then like accidentally regurgitate his opinions. You know, when you've just heard from it and then you say the same thing. I didn't want to do that, but his video was like 45 minutes. So the fact that mine's been shorter, I'm proud of myself. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, weird video. I know we've been doing a lot of tier lists recently. I do have some new ideas of stuff coming up. I'm just not you know, wasn't in like the best sort of mood or headspace to be like full sending on something, but I still wanted to do something because it you know, felt like cheering me up a little bit. So I thought I'd do this to kind of cheer myself up a little bit. So thank you for watching, and hopefully over the next whenever I'll do some other stuff. I have one more tier list that I want to do. I just can't do it yet because it relies on potentially a game that I may be playing, doing a co-op playthrough of right now with some friends. So I want to wait until a little bit later, until when I know the game better, before I can do that one. But eventually that one will happen. But for now, I'm going to chill it on the tier list for a bit because I've done too many of them, and we'll do some other stuff. And probably this time next week I'll be doing another tier list anyway. But either way, thank you for watching. Appreciate you all. I'll see you one later. Bonk.